Hi, good evening and good morning to everyone. Thank you for being with us again today for this new session of AxelTech On Air. Thank you to Enrico Vaccari that is today with me for this session.
Thank you,
and
Simona.
thank you. And thanks to Gianluca Righi, our director, and to Stefano Grego, who is the organizer of these sessions. So thanks again for being with us today. Today, this session is about, actually is a mixed matter, because we are talking about the Dante protocol, but we are going to focus, of course, on how we use this protocol in our units. Okay, so we will go through this chain of transmission of a studio, let's say, system. So we will start from our DJ Pro.
Yeah, let's, before we focus on every single item, as you said, we have a complete setup here based on Dante protocol. So it goes from radio automation, digital audio console, and on the very last screen we have digital audio processor. So today we will show you a practical application of Dante networking for an on-air studio like the one we have with us right now.
Great. I forgot, but I think most of the people that are watching us already know, but anyway, what is Dante actually?
Dante, of course, as you may know, it's a protocol to transport audio over IP. It gives you a lot of benefits. Of course, with the very first one is the wiring part of it. So Dante can be configured on top of a traditional IP infrastructure, so networking, a gigabit networking which is nowadays available in any station,
everywhere,
from the smallest one to the biggest one. And let's say it makes life easier. And the second benefit is that over the network you can connect your devices and application at the LAN, and automatically the signal are immediately available to all the other Dante devices.
Okay.
Of course, you can integrate and mix traditional wiring technologies, analog, balanced, unbalanced, digital AES, together with Dante. Yeah, here, for example, we do have a microphone right on top of the table, which is still an analog connection. But in this case, we are using Dante on all of those Axel devices.
Okay.
So let's start from the radio automation, that is generating currently our audio signal. This is the DJ Pro on-air screen, and on this computer we have installed the Dante virtual device. Let me go here, sorry. Here it is. So as you can see, we have a driver, a Dante virtual sound card, which emulates a physical hardware. And once the driver is installed, we are talking about $30, something like that.
Very cheap
driver, available from Odinate website. And so once it's installed, it gives you 8 input and output on this computer.
Okay.
So, of course, there are plenty of little settings, but we will skip this section now. It's not technical today. And once the driver is installed, we just configure our playout to use those input and output. And here I show you on our DJ Pro configuration. I should switch this to English, but in any case, in the lower part here, you see we are using on those channels Dante transmit. Dante 1 and 2 means a stereo signal, one in left and right. Dante has a playout and also has capture. I might switch to this section here. This is the configuration of our DJ Pro, where I can select the available sounds card that give Windows.
And of course you can mix the different
Of course,
sound cards.
I could, for example, in this setup, use Dante as a main output, and eventually, since the audio console has a USB interface, I could have a program running on USB, or pre-listen queue on a USB, and Dante as a program output, or connect all of them. Then, and this as far as the DJ Pro concerned. So we have the play out, which is now playing over Dante. Let's go to the console. Now the audio comes into the console, and as you see from the GUI in the input number 4, channel number 4 shows you Dante number 1, which is exactly the audio feed coming from DJ Pro.
Okay.
Last item of the chain, so audio goes out from the console, and the last ring of the chain is the digital audio processor. So now I'm going to connect from my computer to the web interface of the Falcon processor.
Okay.
As you see, the processor shows me that the main source, our Falcon may have plenty of input,
Okay.
and the main one now is digital one.
Yes.
But inside, we see, I just switched the internal changeover, which is the input selector, and the digital input source now is Dante number 1, as you can see from here. Of course, why you see also AES-BU? Because Falcon X7 always have 2 analog input, 2 digital input, and as soon as the option Dante is installed and enabled, it also gives you 2 Dante in and 2 Dante out. So the input routing, the audio selector of Falcon allows me to select the proper input, which is Dante at the moment.
At the moment. Great.
So now I show you, of course, that every unit is working with Dante protocol, and how to, let's say, route the signal from DJ Pro to the audio console, and from the audio console to the Falcon.
Okay.
With Dante, you also have to download and get a copy of Dante controller, which is your, let's say, tool to do the routing and to discover any Dante device available on the network. So as soon as you run this software, as you see, it shows me, now I can reduce it. In any case, it shows you all the available inputs here on the column. So which are the devices Dante compliant that are now discovered on our network? We have the DJ Pro, we have the Falcon, and of course Oxygen 3000. Yeah, you see here in the middle some workstation called the media, simply because on our network now, in the other building, we do have a system running with Dante, and so those are computers that are not related to our setup.
Yeah, sorry Enrico to interrupt. I just forgot to tell to our audience today that, of course, if they want to submit any question, they can do that using the bell over there, or just writing up, the question in the Facebook chat if you are following us on. So please feel free to submit any doubt or question if you have any. Sorry, Enrico.
Never mind. So I was talking about the routing, because this is where I can decide, okay, which audio goes to where.
Okay.
So from the DJ Pro now, if we follow the table, it's DJ Pro output 1 and 2, which is left and right, is now forwarded to the Oxygen 3000 left and right here. And this is the matching of input and output. Then the output from Oxygen 3000 output, so this is transmitter, left and right, is transmitted to where? To Falcon input. And here it is. So here I can assign and do the routing. It behaves like as if it was a physical audio router or matrix, let me say. So this is very, very easy to use, and let's say maybe there are some technical details that are, let's say, something very ordinary for an IT guy. But nowadays, of course, the future is moving toward the audio over IP, so transport of audio over IP. There are plenty of other alternative formats, but let's say Dante is probably the most cost-effective. and easy to implement. It works on any gigabit network. Of course, sometimes the quality of the our let's say IP switch, network switch could affect.
Change, yeah.
If you have to set up a big architecture with multiple devices, with multiple routers, so it might be, let's say, you need to do a project and
of course,
and prepare your environment to host the Dante, which works on a traditional network switch on your current local area network.
That's great. We also would like to remind you that while with DJ Pro, as we see already, this option is embedded. I mean, you can use the Dante virtual sound card as any other sound card. As far as concerns the console and the processor, the Dante comes as an option, okay? So you can order our Oxygen 3000 Dante
in Dante configuration,
Dante version, or you can ask us to add the Dante option to the Falcon X7 or X5, or to the Falcon X family, actually. Or you can also use some external device in order to adapt to the network.
Let's say, for those that already have a Falcon from Axel without the Dante option, or the Oxygen 3000 without the Dante option. Why? Because this is something you need to order and it's something that is added at the factory. So, or in case you also have a third party, so some device which is not from Axel and not ready for Dante, there are always available plenty of adapter, analog, digital, or USB that convert analog or ASBU input and output into Dante. So as soon as you plug this device into the network, this is discovered and it gives you back left and right, analog or digital, to be connected to consoles or audio processors. On the side of the radio automation, of course, what's the major benefit? Is that you can save the cost of the audio card.
Of course.
If you have a console that is Dante ready. Adapting. So you save the cost of audio card with the $30 of driver.
Software.
And let's say this makes life much easier. And actually, even if Dante is not plugged in, the driver allows let's say the software never loses the device, so it keeps running even if the LAN is not connected. So you can plug it in or plug it in case it's disconnected. Don't worry. As soon as the network comes back, the audio restarts and keeps streaming. So it's definitely nowadays reliable. It's a trend on the market. I would say maybe it's not the perfect application for any customers, but of course it's...
Yeah, to who you would you suggest it?
But of course, let's say, for those customers that have a, let's say, small setup and without an engineering department able to do wiring and cabling, and also for medium-sized radio station, for sure I would recommend to all those stations with having an IT department, which is able to, let's say, to take the advantage of Dante interfaces. Anyway, it's a trend. It's going to be more and more
it's
popular.
Going to evolve and to grow.
And so, let's say, this is probably the future. And also, in our product in the future, Dante will be more and more integrated and developed.
That's great. So we don't have any questions from our audience, so I would say that's all for today. Thank you again for being with us. Thanks, Enrico.
Thank you,
and,
Simona.
If you have any further doubt or question, or if you want some offer for our devices and solutions, please do not hesitate to write to us, to me and to my colleagues, to the email sales@axeltechnology.com. Thank you again for being with us, and see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.